Welcome to Tony Halloween. I am Tony Halloween, and on this channel we discuss all things Halloween. Today we're going to be talking about planning. I always start my planning by just examining my yard and taking a look to see how things might be able to fit. So let's go take a look. So this is my yard. This is my staging area. This is where I put up all of the decorations. I don't do anything in the back.
That's what she said.
Generally, I'll have the carport in the driveway, and we'll dress that up with chairs, and I'll put a gas burning fire pit in there and make it nice. It's usually pretty chilly. And this area, sometimes I'll utilize it. Usually I'll just kind of throw some stuff in there. Sometimes it's extended cemetery. Generally the cemetery just kind of goes in this area. Back there in the back I'll put the mausoleum, and if I need to use it, I can put the ladder back there, and I've got a rig to put my projector on so that I can put a screen in front of the door and then project ghosts and such into the door of the mausoleum. Now, my monsters, the big monsters, the spiders, Siren Head, always go over here-ish. The spider was right here, and Slenderman was, Slenderman was actually back there. But Siren Head was over here, up on the hill. This is my neighbor's yard, and she'll let me use that if I need to. Very nice lady. But when I'm planning for the year, generally this is what I think about. How whatever idea I might have would fit into this space. So this year I am considering the Beetlejuice theme, or the other idea I've had is the, what do they call them, Spirit Walkers costume. And if I did the Spirit Walker costume, this would all just be, I'd probably put up a small cemetery, and then I would make some fake trees, some dead trees, to kind of fill in this space. And then maybe as the Spirit Walker, I could walk in and out of there, and that could be fun. But I don't think that I would be able to do the Spirit Walker very much, because I would have to be on the costume, and I'm usually just way too busy on trick-or-treat night for that. What is this? Do I have a pair? Something keeps eating these things. This is the first time I've had pears on this pear tree. Squirrels. So anyway, the other idea that I've had was to, since the second movie is coming out on September 6th, the other idea I've had was to go with a Beetlejuice theme. And I thought I could do the cemetery here and do a Beetlejuice grave. I could make a Beetlejuice gravestone for that, and I could put that right up front. Maybe get the sign, everything that goes with it. And then over here, over in this area over here, I would run a sandworm. Now the sandworm that I'm imagining is going to be life-size, so the head would be up here somewhere, and that's kind of what I'm picturing. Now we just need to go in, sit down, and start sketching out some ideas on how to make that a reality. So as I said, Beetlejuice
You said it twice, just say it once more, come on.
is coming out on September 2nd, and we're going to go ahead and use the Beetlejuice theme for our Halloween display this year. I think it's going to be fantastic. A lot of people are going to be into it, and sounds like a winner to me. So what we're going to do is sit down and kind of sketch out how I'm going to do my big monster. I'm going to do the sandworm. It's going to be somewhere around 20 feet tall. I need to figure out how I'm going to pull that off. And so the first thing I need to do is go to my sketch pad. Now the first thing I'm going to do is figure out the pose. Pretty sure what I want to do is the pose where the sandworm is coming straight up out of the ground and looking down at Barbara and Adam. That way they'll be looking at the trick-or-treaters. So I'm going to create basically a series of hoops going straight up from the ground. I'm going to use 1-inch, I think, PVC pipe for the legs. I'll do a 3-foot segment topped with a T connector, and then I'll run the 1/2-inch hoop through those segments and connect those two with little connector pieces. Once I get a whole section of that, hopefully there'll be rebar going up through the ground to hold it in place. Once I get that, in theory, I should be able to just keep stacking those hoop sections on top of each other until I get to something that is basically 15 feet tall. And from there, I'm going to have to figure out how to do a head. Now, I'm not going to be able to sit down and draw that out. It's way too complicated. It's something that I'm just going to have to use trial and error. But for now, I think this is going to work. So now that I have my theme picked and I've got a concept for how the monster is going to work, it's time to go out scouting. I'm going to go visit some stores, see what's out there, see what I'll be able to use. This is the fun part. Let's go. Spirit Halloween is a great place to start, especially when doing a popular theme like Beetlejuice. They're bound to have lots of items that I can use to dress up my build. Here's a sign that lights up. Or not. They also have tons of home decor odds and ends that I might be able to use to add a touch of flair to my theme. Scary Adam. They even have Beetlejuice themed costumes. Maybe I can use these to dress up a dummy. Heck, I might even dress up as Beetlejuice myself. Plus, there are tons of other costumes, masks, and props to look at while I'm here. Now, this is only their opening day, so there isn't a lot out yet. I'll be checking back in with them weekly and picking up on little bits and pieces to complete my Beetlejuice theme as Halloween draws near. So the spirit's all fun and good, but now we're going to go into where I get most of my actual Halloween supplies. PVC is at the heart of most of my builds. For the sandworm, I'll be using 2 of these 1/2-inch sections connected together to make hoops that form the sandworm's body. This flex pipe would be a lot cheaper, but I don't think it's sturdy enough to hold the shape. For the Beetlejuice gravestone, I'll be using something similar to this 2-inch thick foam insulation board. This isn't the cheapest version, but it does hold up well. Since I'm only planning on using the Beetlejuice gravestone for 1 year, I might have to look into a cheaper option. Speaking of insulation foam, this great stuff is, well, great stuff. It can be a little tricky to work with, and it's pretty much a one-time use per can unless you kick down the extra cash for the gun, which I would recommend if you're going to be using it a lot. I'll be covering the usage of great stuff in an upcoming video, so make sure you hit that notification button when you subscribe and you'll be the first to know. Now, spray paint is an invaluable tool in my arsenal. I keep a stash of at least 10 to 20 cans of various colors on hand at all times. Generally, I'll recommend sticking with flat finishes and avoiding the shiny ones. They just tend to look better. Also, the phrase "you get what you pay for" certainly applies here, but sometimes you just need some cheap paint for touch-ups, and that's okay. But if you can afford it, getting the next step up is going to serve you better when doing your project. You'll get better coverage overall and less drippage. There are also a bunch of specialty spray paints that I can use to create the look of metal or rock. These tend to be expensive, but if you need that pipe to look like hammered steel or a piece of chrome, this will definitely get the job done. I should also mention that you don't really want to use spray paint on styrofoam, as it can eat the foam away, so unless that is the effect you're going for, I'd recommend getting a can of exterior latex. That's the better option for cardboard as well. The latex barrier helps to act as water protection, and you can pretty much get any color you can imagine. And finally, all of the big box hardware stores carry a wide variety of lighting, which is a necessary yet inexpensive component of any Halloween yard display. And of course, Home Depot is known for their incredible props that they are just starting to put out now. While I generally try not to rely on these type of items to create my themes, sometimes you just need a skeleton to dress up in a costume or a hand walking around to scare trick-or-treaters. Sometimes you just need spooky things in your home.
Welcome from the depths of the graveyard. Frightening, isn't it?
It's early August right now, so they won't have the big stuff out yet, but rest assured, it's coming. Okay, so now that I have some idea of what it is I want to do, and I've taken a look at some of the materials that are available out there, now I'm going to just take some scrap PVC and some rebar, start trying to piece together a rough concept of what this sandworm is going to be. This is not a build by any means. This is just trying to get an idea of what I'm not thinking about, what I'm going to have to reconsider, and where it's going to go wrong, so that when I actually do start building, I've got a good idea of what I'm trying to do. Let's try it out. Uh-oh. That's going to be a problem. Okay, so I was expecting for the rebar to go all the way up through, and then the 1/2-inch pipe to fit on the other side. I may have to go to a larger size for the legs, which might not be a bad idea anyway. Just considering how tall it's going to be, maybe having some thicker, sturdier legs is going to work out better. But for now, I'm going to try to get some 5-foot pieces and see if I can do them in 4 so that I can run them through that without having to go all the way through the T-bar. Let's see if that works. So before I go cutting up my pieces, I'm going to See if I've got anything here that actually works. Most are closer to 6 feet or 3 feet, and I'll explain about that in a different video. Looks like we're pretty close. Alright, so having these 5-foot pieces connecting to each section, that doesn't work out great. It just isn't shaping the way that I want it to. It's not going to be a good circle. Let's try something else. Sorry about that. So basically this is the proof of concept. Obviously we've got some issues here. I think that mainly has to do with getting this placed in the right place. If this is placed in the right place, this connection will be a little more direct as opposed to being as punchy and angled as it is. And then from there I can actually put in maybe some small screws or something into these to hold them in place to keep them from popping out. But otherwise, it's pretty solid. Well, I might have to work out some new ideas for instead of the rebar. And once this gets to be pretty tall, it's going to be I may have to use more legs, get them better positioned, and I think we're going to be in good shape. All right, cool. So there we have it. I have got a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do to get this sandworm off the ground. This is not an actual build. This is just kind of making sure what I think is going to work, and making adjustments as needed. So when I revisit this in the next video, I'm going to begin actually building and working on making the first hoop. And then we're going to work off the first hoop and build the head. So stick around, it's going to work out. I promise. Yummy pears from the pear tree.